We could play that.
Anyway, so they swim down there. Then they're going to go save Spock.
Right.
The shuttlecraft was totally being, having problems with flying around in the, like, turbulence from this volcano. The shuttlecraft, which can fly kind of close-ish to suns.
But there was a lot of
There was a lot of turbulence. It was a real problem. But the Enterprise, the exceptionally agile and totally atmosphere like possible, apparently, Enterprise gets over there and they teleport him out just in time as the bomb goes off, and they save the day. And then you have the scene where you cut back because they've broken the rule about the Prime Directive, which is don't get caught.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Don't get caught.
Don't get caught.
That is the actual Prime Directive as described in every version of Starfleet that I've ever seen. Why they have, and Joe has said this before. He's like, the Prime Directive is one of the most evil things ever. It's just pure evil. We have the technology to help you, but because it might interfere with your culture, we're just going to let you all die.
Yeah.
Now, naturally, what do you end up doing? You end up ignoring the Prime Directive all the time because you aren't evil. On the other hand, this does say certain things about Starfleet now, doesn't it? Starfleet is evil. Individual people within it may be good. But at any rate. So you see this scene where the primitives there are standing and they're like drawing a very good rendition, if very simplified version, of the Enterprise, and it's like, and they're like worshiping it and stuff. And so what they're trying to do is show how they've influenced the people, and like maybe negatively. These people were worshiping a volcano like 10 minutes ago.
Right.
So how do these people, it's not like they have sufficient technological understanding to be able to say, I just saw something technological. This means that there are people in space, that aliens have come. These people are like, and then the ocean god, the white ocean god, arose from the waters and killed the volcano god.
Right.
Like, it's meaningless. It doesn't mean a single thing. So they worship the Enterprise now. Whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe you will have some problems in a few hundred or 1,000 years if you're still using ships that look like the Enterprise and you come back. But by that time, they will have become rationalized. They will have rationalized it away already. And they're like, you visited us before.
Yes.
Like, yeah, we did. It was a long time ago. Sorry about that. Like, oh no, it was, it's a quaint mythology. Because if you're getting into space, you're probably moved past the idea that the ocean god killed the volcano god.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah. I would hope.
No, honestly, the biggest issue that I had with the whole film was that at the end of the movie,
all the way at the end of the movie?
All the way at the end of the movie. There's some really dumb parts in between.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Wrath of Khan, and they completely throw away all the important parts about the Wrath of Khan.
Right.
Just chuck them. But you get to the end.
Yes.
Khan has escaped into the city and is running away.
Hmm.
Kirk is dead, having saved everyone in the Enterprise by doing what Spock did in The Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
And you're thinking, but Spock could come back because they had nonsense they could claim with Vulcans.
Right.
How in the world? Oh well, Khan's blood is so regenerative that when injected into a dead Tribble, the Tribble eventually comes back to life. So they're like, if we can capture Khan alive, we can inject it into Kirk, which will then also potentially give him superpowers later.
Except they already jettisoned his body after a moving ceremony.
No.
Oh.
No, they got him up there, they put him in a cryo tube. Because all of Khan's crew from the Botany Bay were like loaded in it is dumb, John. It is just dumb. Like they have like super missiles and they're trying to start a war with the Klingons.
Yeah.
And it's like you've got bad aspect, and then Khan like wipes out like 80 to 90% of the hierarchy of Starfleet. But anyway, so you go through this. Khan is escaping, and Spock is like, beam me down. I'll chase him down myself. Now, it's Star Trek. You always send the most important people on the ship on away missions.
Yes.
It's just the way it is, even if it shows that these people have no clue what they're doing. This is one of the few instances where I said, yeah, that seems legit. Who else is going to fight Khan?
Right.
No. All right. So you send the half Vulcan, the pissed off half Vulcan down to fight with the superhuman.
Right.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what other options you have here.
Right.
All right, fine. So then they determine, while he's having this fight, that with Khan's blood.
Hey, we just won a game without.
See?
Elspeth.
I'm afraid that guy didn't know what he was talking about.
Bingo, banana.
But they determined during the fight, if we get Khan's blood, we can maybe bring Kirk back to life.
Mm-hmm.
So, with everyone on the ship,
Yes.
okay, and presuming that you will send command staff because it's Star Trek, okay, who would you send down to inform Spock that they need him alive?
Okay.
I mean, I'm just going to discount the whole possibility of sending down, security forces.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is just a messenger.
Yeah.
And they can't get it to him without something.
He's apparently ignoring his comm or something. I mean, I guess they do use the handheld ones. They don't have just the little...
Right.
The one of the very good ideas that they introduced in Next Generation, like, which now the handheld ones seem sillier and sillier. It's like, yeah, we've got those.
Yeah.
We've got better than those. No, the badge is probably overstated. In Babylon 5, I think they just had a pad that they just germ attached behind their ear, and they just tap it, and then that was their communication. But it was the size of a dime.
Right.
Which, 500 years in the future,
yeah,
they may still be setting the bar too low.
Yeah, they probably are. Who's head of security?
Shit, dude, I don't even know. Like, that person isn't important. What are you talking about?
So there wasn't a Worf equivalent from...
Not really. I mean... No, not really. Like in Star... you had Kirk, Spock, Chekhov...
What was Sulu?
Sulu was technically a helmsman. On the other hand, he was like the ranking helmsman.
Right.
Um, and he was shown to be badass in the first film. He carries a katana because he's Japanese for no reason otherwise. Which if everyone had pulled out katanas, I would have been like, yeah, okay. It's just apparently standard equipment. No, it's because he's Japanese. Oh.
Yeah. Kind of love it. Okay, so who'd they send?
Uhura. Yeah, onto a speeding garbage scow.
Naturally. And I'm sure that went really well.
She did the job. She didn't die, so I mean,
Okay.
I guess it could have gone worse.
Yes.
But yeah.
Right.
No, I was just dumbfounded, and that was the moment where the movie lost me.
Right.
There were other moments where I was thinking, this is not good.
Yeah, really?
But it's Star Trek, and I'm willing to forgive an awful lot of stuff for Star Trek. It's like watching Doctor Who. Like, well, it's dumb. But it's Doctor Who, so I'm willing to forgive an awful lot.
Right. And there aren't enough other dumb things that are entertaining put out, so I want to support.
And like with Star Trek and Doctor Who, like the modern ones,
Mhm.
to a certain extent, what you're getting is it's dumb because in the '60s when it was originally made, it's how it was.
Right.
They probably even recognized it was dumb at the time, but this is what they could do.
And because the fan bases have stayed, they want to stay true to the original subject matter, but spin it with some semblance of reality.
Right.
And yeah, it comes off.
And it comes off. They can come off really dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was not. But that was like, you sent the communications officer. Under what circumstance would this ever make sense?
Right. We'll see if this works.
Oh, and they had a moment in
So that didn't really work, but we'll survive.
Unfortunately, so will he.
Yes.
They have a moment when Khan is like slaughtering dozens of Klingons. And it is one of the most ridiculously like video game, or it vaguely reminded me out of something like from Tron Legacy. Because he's standing on an elevated platform, like just like two fisting weapons and just blowing dudes away, and none of them can hit him.
Okay.
And like he's kind of dodging and stuff, but he's like dodging laser blasts. It's just like, what is? It's like you're trying to make him well, and that was what it came down to. Instead of just making Khan badass, they tried to make Khan badass.
Right.
And
yeah, you can tell when they're trying.
Yeah. It's like, guys, this is Benedict Cumberbatch. Have him talk. This is how you make this man badass.
Yep.
Have him explain something in such a way that you feel like you're a tiny, tiny, insignificant nothing. He's really good at this. We've seen it on Sherlock a lot.
Yep. That's kind of his shtick. Yeah, we're not going to win this game, but we still have a game 3.
Nemesis of Mortals.
him unblockable? No, do that. Now are you going to make him unblockable? If you don't, it's a pretty big mistake. Really big mistake. Okay.
Maybe we're going to win?
We probably still won't win, but there we go. That's why it's not a mistake. You got other cards.
Triton Tactics? What does that one do?
+0/+3. Untap the creatures, and any creature that's dealt damage by, or is blocking and dealt damage by a creature gets tapped.
Huh. Except that it also dies, probably.
Right, in this case it died, but sometimes it's, you're attacking with like a 1/1 or something and just trying to tap them down.
So, it's probably worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's worth owning.
Right.
$1 at Redbox, or whenever it shows up wherever, Netflix, what have you.
Right. Well, we can at least stall a little while longer.
If we pull one more land, we'll drop a ton of little critters.
Right. It's that this guy's unblockable is really my problem. He's only attacking with that guy. Interesting. Okay, well. So be it.
He must be looking for a trick of some kind.
I don't know what he expected me to do. And with that is he's going to be gaining all that life. Surprises me. Okay. So here is our only hope.
Okay.
Elspeth next turn.
Okay. That's not so good.
Yeah. Because if we Elspeth next turn, we could destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater, which would kill those two. I'm going to keep the Pegasus back to hopefully trade with the Vaporkin, or yeah. And then maybe block this on that to kill it. And if that happened, if we were fortunate enough to pull that, we could be left with a whole bunch of 1/1 creatures. Okay, so you're making yourself unblockable. That's glad to see you've come around to that. And you are offering the trade here, or at least so I think. No. Okay.
See, I was going to say if... Hold on, before we... Close.
Yeah. If we had had a way to survive one more turn, then that card draws you another card.
Which would have put us to her.
Yeah, and we could have put that on him, and it was huge.
Well, no, and that was what I was... Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14... He would have blocked...
Yeah, I was thinking, I was thinking potentially if we drew this card and went, like the next card was God's Willing or something like that, where we
Sure.
could do this twice.
All of a sudden, it's like, oh, we have another option.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. We just run it back. Bingo, banana.
Let's see. And I've been watching the 7th season of Doctor Who. I'm waiting for them to come out with the second half of the 2nd season of Doctor Who for free because I don't feel like spending money on it.
Right. Is this on Netflix? Or is this
Amazon Prime
has
the 7th season. Once the 7th season is released in its entirety, I will bet that it comes up on Netflix.
Are the first 6 on Netflix? Right.
But Amazon is able to do stuff where it's like, well, you can get this portion, and then if you want the rest, you have to pay, and
right,
all sorts of other nonsense.
And I haven't watched any of the reboot of Doctor Who or whatever. But I did hear about Day of the Doctors. Have you seen that? And just on Facebook or whatever, I had a number of my
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet.
Friends who were freaking out about it.
No, actually, it is worth watching. It has the flaw of being modern and British, which means it's a little darker than it probably needs to be. But Doctor Who was always kind of dark. I mean, like,
it had the flaw of not being modern and British.
Well, no. The thing is that it was still modern and British. It just wasn't as modern.
Have you gone back and watched?
They can be just abjectly terrible.
Really? I just wonder.
And there are episodes which are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And to a certain extent, it depends on what was their budget like, how, did the actors care? But no, I watched the last episode I watched was the last episode with Amy Pond, who was the companion for like the last 2.5 seasons. And I really liked her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was kind of lukewarm to almost every other companion prior to her. Like,
right.
They were fine.
Yeah.
But I really liked Amy. And so they had the
Do you think we keep this?
I see neither Elsbeth nor a lot of land. And now I see neither Elsbeth and too much land.
Right.
But I think I would rather have this than...
Yeah, I think this is better than what we had, and this is not good. But if we don't draw land, we could be in pretty good shape.
But anyway, I was watching this episode, and anyone who's actually listening to this who watches Doctor Who and hasn't seen this, you may want to mute for a little bit because this is totally going to be spoilery.
As has much of the conversation this evening.
Yeah, but but this is kind of newish instead of
right.
If you haven't seen the new Star Trek movie, you don't care.
Right, you're probably not going to see the new Star Trek movie.
Doctor Who fans are weird though, so I'm like, yeah, we'll throw out the, spoiler alert. Anyway, when all is said and done,
mm-hmm.
Amy and Rory are transported backwards, and that's her husband, are transported backwards in time to 1938. And as a result of some temporal, nonsense occurring, the TARDIS can't go to 1938 anymore.
Okay.
It's just too buggered up temporally. He can't get in. So they have this tearful moment as, he's like, you're creating a fixed point in time. I'll never be able to see you again. This will be the end of it.
Right.
And she wants to be with her husband, who was sent back against his will. And so she lets the thing that sent him back send her back too.
Shit. Okay, I think we're in
a little trouble.
We're in top deck Elspeth mode.
Oh, good.
Already.
That's not good, John.
No. We have several turns before we're there, but my plan was, we have a 3/2 flyer, we'll attack, and then he put out the 4/5 reach guy.
So it's like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
But then, within moments of hearing this, I was like, but why can't you just go talk to him in 1939? Or 1941?
Right.
Or 1950?
Right.
I mean, fine, 1938 is sacrosanct. You can't get in there. But is all of 1938 sacrosanct? Or is it just this one moment?
Right.
When they're being sent to? But they'll continue living on.
Right.
Do they carry this with them? They exist in all of these times, right?
Right. So are you saying
is it
their
like
lifespan?
Their entire lifespan? So what you're saying is that from 1938 until, she doesn't die until she's 87 or something. So we'll say she's probably dying in the 80s? Give or take?
Right.
So no World War II stories. Really? So does that mean that all of the World War II stories that have already happened can't happen?
Right.
And I was just like, no, this at least when they did with Rose and they wanted to write her out, she was the first companion in the new series.
Mm-hmm.
They stuffed her into another dimension, and they did it in such a way where it was it's the TARDIS doesn't do this.
Right.
They kind of were able to sort of fake it because of events that were occurring. But when she was there, he couldn't get to her, and even then, eventually he did.
Mm-hmm.
But with this one, it's just but they're just here. I mean, it's not like you can say, oh, well, the TARDIS can't do that. It's it's a time travel thing. Of course the TARDIS can do that. They wanted to write them out.
Right.
I mean,
and that's how they did it.
And that was how they did it.
But they overlooked what came to you within seconds
of watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's all sorts of rules with just how Doctor Who works.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's well, fine, you're going to have to ignore certain things where you're but that just doesn't work that way. It does, because it's Doctor Who.
Right.
But again, this one strained my ability to accept.
Now, what we just did was walked into a 2-for-1 or maybe even more.
Really?
Let's see. Protection from green. We'll go green.
How so, John?
Well, it may not end up being that. I was expecting him to grip tide or... Oh, no, looks like we're actually dealing damage. Okay, so... No, we killed it. Big bad thing.
That's good.
And we have a 3/6 guy who's... Oh, now he's got that guy.
Nah, I don't like that one either.
But we're still alive with what we're doing.
Yeah.
this. How many creatures are in here? 3. So he has to get to 6. He's already there. So he can make that monstrous. He can make it a 10/10. He lost his connection.
Yes, our best bet. He fails to show up.
Yep. We've been there before.
So I enjoy Doctor Who, but I can't really say that Doctor Who is good.
Right.
Because they play it so fast and loose with how and the big thing is like the rules within the show change all the time. They had granted it was a Christmas special, which means
Yeah.
But the implication is that this is like it's referenced then later. The Doctor is doing sort of a Christmas Carol kind of story where he's trying to get the Scrooge character to not just be a raging hemorrhoid of humanity upon humanity, and so he's like going to the past and changing his past, but like the guy's watching this happen on a screen, and then he'll have new memories just show up. So time can be rewritten as part of what they're going into, and then it can't be. Like within the same season.
Right.
Because apparently if you read something in a book, then it has to happen, even though you could have just lied. Like, I was like, wow, what? It's like, oh, well, no, there's, once you read it, then it's happened. Like, bullshit.
Oh, come on. You're doing something different. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. But you could have just won.
He can still pretty much just
win. Yes. Especially if he has a combat trick. But he gave us another draw step. That's the...
And we are landed.
Now. It's over. I mean, when we had to mulligan kept that many land, we were kinda already behind the 8-ball, but...
Yeah. Oh, well.
But then there was a glimmer, and then that glimmer faded.
So, yeah. I would totally recommend watching the Doctor Who's at some point if you have a chance. Because they are actually pretty solid all in all. And
that would have been useful. That could buy us some time, but yeah.
And for all the dumb that they have, they tend to be kind of fun to watch.
Right.
But yeah, then they'll have other moments where you're just like, what?
Well.
Yeah. All right.
That was another
light
draft.
I don't know, John. That awful what's his name? Mouth breather? No. Found Omega.
Found Omega.
That kind of was right, John. It's kind of right. I mean, we didn't win.
But our one match win was without Elspeth.
Yes, it was.
But we didn't win at all.
We didn't win at all. Of course, you know what he did? He lost in the first round.
Yeah, and to us.
Yeah, to us. So who sucks?
What I wish was that as he was like waiting around, and as soon as we lost, he messaged us again. That would be
that would prove that he really is just an awful person.
The dedication to being that kind of asshole, I would actually respect more.
A little bit.
Anyone can rage, but to then try to rub it in later.
To fume? Yeah. To just sit there and just is like revenge is a dish best served cold.
Especially when we had not replied at all.
Like we don't care what you say.
Yep. Oh well.
All right.